A community remembers another fallen officer, how Prestonsburg is dealing with a tragedy it never thought would happen here. A Texas community is getting more answers about what happened earlier this year when 19 students were killed.
And our severe weather alert day continues as we watch more showers and storms push into the region. The full breakdown on our severe weather chances is next at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. We've seen a few pop-up storms this afternoon, but not as much severe weather as the last couple of days. They are producing some very heavy rainfall, though, including here in Hazard in the last half hour. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the very latest as our severe weather alert day continues. Evan?
That's right. We've had quite a bit of heavy rain and hearing the thunder here at the station in Hazard. In fact, let's go ahead and look out front of the studios here at WYMT. It's quite a bit of heavy rain pushing on through. It soaked the parking lot and really everybody over here through portions of Black Gold Boulevard here in Hazard, just off the bypass. And it's an active scene on Pinpoint Doppler. We look down first into the Cumberland Valley, where we just had a severe thunderstorm warning for McCreary County expire. They have still the possibility, though, for some winds upwards of 40 to 50 miles per hour and heavy rain. A flash flood warning continues until 8:30 for southern McCreary County near the Pine Knot community. So if you're in that area, please be aware of high water. More thunderstorms north of Monticello, north of Somerset, pushing east toward London and Corbin at this hour. There's that heavy thunderstorm on top of downtown Hazard right now, and that one's pushing closer and closer into Letcher County as well. Western Letcher County likely seeing some heavy rain, some gusty winds with that storm as that heads toward Lynch and eventually down into portions of southwest Virginia as well. The greatest threat for severe weather in our far southern communities tonight, everywhere in that yellow level 2 slight risk. Areas north of that towards the Mountain Parkway corridor in the level 1 marginal risk for tonight. And you see off to the northwest, here comes another round of showers. It's something we'll watch as we head into tonight. Off and on showers and storms, low 70s for us as we finish off our Thursday. Our Friday looks stormy as well. The details on that coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. It was 1 week ago when officers were preparing to serve an emergency protective order in Floyd County. No one could have anticipated the tragedy that would unfold during the next few hours. The memorials outside the police department and signs of support in the windows of businesses show the heartache this town never thought would happen.
There's no manual for it. There's no policy for it. There's no ordinances for it. You could talk to other agencies. There's a brotherhood among among fire and police. And we've got people here from Portland, Oregon, Chicago. They've all come to show respect.
Prestonsburg Mayor Les Stapleton knew all 3 officers that were killed on some personal level. He worked alongside Deputy William Petrie and Captain Ralph Frazier. He had known Officer Jacob Chauvin, the youngest victim, since he was a young child. We'll have much more on Officer Chauvin's funeral today, coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin learned his fate for violating George Floyd's civil rights today. Chauvin is already serving a lengthy sentence for killing Floyd on a Minneapolis street in May of 2020. CBS's Jennifer Mayerly has more on today's sentencing from Minneapolis.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been sentenced to 245 months, a little more than 20 years, in a federal prison for violating George Floyd's civil rights. The sentence is part of a plea deal. In entering the plea, it was the first time Chauvin admitted he used excessive force when he knelt on Floyd's neck. During Thursday's hearing, Chauvin did not offer the Floyd family an apology. Instead, he said he wishes all the best for Floyd's children. Chauvin is already serving a 22-and-a-half-year sentence for his conviction on state murder and manslaughter charges at Minnesota's only maximum security prison. Last year, during his sentencing, Chauvin addressed Floyd's family.
I want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest. And I hope things will give you some peace of mind.
Since then, Chauvin has appealed his state conviction. As part of today's plea deal, he will be moved from a state prison where he is serving his sentence in solitary confinement to a federal prison, which is viewed as being safer. Jennifer Merrily, CBS News, Minneapolis.
Chauvin's sentences will run concurrently, but because he's being transferred to a federal prison, it will take longer for him to become eligible for parole. WNBA basketball star Brittney Griner pleaded guilty to drug possession during her trial in Moscow today. The athlete said she had no intention of committing a crime. Russian news reports quoted Griner as saying through an interpreter that at the court hearing that she had acted unintentionally because she was packing in haste. She's been in custody since February after vape canisters with cannabis oil were reportedly found in her luggage. She faces up to 10 years in prison if convicted of large-scale transportation of drugs. A Florida judge has delayed the trial of the ex-deputy charged for his inaction during the Parkland school shooting in Florida. Former Broward County Sheriff's Office Deputy Scott Peterson was in court today. The judge accepted a request from his attorney to reschedule the start of his trial. It has been postponed until next year to give them more time to prepare their defense. Peterson is facing 4 counts of child neglect and 7 counts of exposed culpable negligence. He was the only armed school resource officer on campus when Nicholas Cruz opened fire inside of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018. Prosecutors say he hid outside the building during the mass shooting. A new report on the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas confirms police could have stopped it before 19 children and 2 teachers were killed. An active shooter training center run by Texas State University points to multiple occasions when officers had a chance to target the gunman at Robb Elementary School. CBS's Janet Shamlian has reaction to the new report.
Stunning new information details missed opportunities Uvalde police had in preventing the Robb Elementary massacre. An officer armed with a rifle had the gunman in sight as the shooter approached the school building, but didn't fire. Instead, the report indicates the officer asked his supervisor for permission to shoot the suspect. The supervisor either did not hear or responded too late.
The use of force decisions always rest with the officer who's going to use the force. There was no requirement for that officer to ask for permission to shoot.
The report highlights another missed chance. The first officer arriving on the scene might have seen the gunman to prevent him from entering the building if he hadn't been driving so fast, or instead approached on foot. And the report concludes what many have believed, that based on current evidence, it is possible that some of the people who died could have been saved if they had received more rapid medical care.
We believe there should have been an entry at that as soon as you can.
The new information follows last week's emotional city council meeting.
This was not supposed to happen. You failed because you're not taking care of the city. They are 19 children dead, massacred.
A Texas legislative committee is also investigating and is expected to release its report soon. Janet Shamlian, CBS News.
The state of Kentucky is facing a critical teacher shortage that is expected to impact generations for years to come. Many school districts are struggling to fill their classrooms with quality teachers. A 30,000 person leave was anticipated for teachers this year. Most of those leaving are brand new teachers or those at retirement age. Barron County school leaders say they don't have any student teachers from Western Kentucky University signed up for the fall.
That's a first for us. Western apparently has a small group student teaching this year, and we won't have any from Western. Now we do have one from Eastern, but typically we will have anywhere from 10 to 15, 20 throughout the district. So that was a real sign that there are issues.
WKU is also seeing a slight dip in enrollment for the College of Education. In 2017, there were 802 seniors, and in 2021, there were just 581. Meanwhile, WKU is offering incentives for future teachers by announcing the educator discount for in-state and border state teachers. Today, President Biden honored 17 Americans with the Presidential Medal of Freedom for their notable contributions. Their work touches on everything from world peace and politics to civil rights and the arts. In a statement, the White House said the honorees, quote, demonstrate the power of possibilities and embody the soul of the nation. CBS's Skylar Henry is at the White House with more from today's ceremony.
A diverse group of Americans received the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, at the White House Thursday.
An extraordinary group of Americans up here on this stage that I have the honor to recognize today.
The most recognizable honoree, gymnast Simone Biles, an advocate for mental health and sexual abuse victims.
Today, she adds to her medal count of 32. I know you're going to find room.
U.S. soccer champion Megan Rapinoe has recently been at the forefront of the battle for gender pay equity more than 4 decades after Wilma Vaught broke barriers as one of few women generals in the U.S. Armed Forces. New York nurse Sandra Lindsay was the first person in the U.S. to receive a COVID-19 vaccine, while Father Alexander Karloutsos of the Greek Orthodox Church has advised presidents. Those honored for their leadership on civil rights and social issues include Sister Simone Campbell, Fred Gray, Diane Nash, former Ambassador Raul Izaguirre, Julieta Garcia, and Gold Star Father Khazir Khan, an outspoken critic of former President Trump. The president also presented awards to previous congressional colleagues, former Wyoming Senator Alan Simpson and former Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, an outspoken survivor of gun violence. 3 recipients, Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, labor leader Richard Trumka, and long-serving Arizona Senator John McCain received the award posthumously.
To the families, I know receiving this award on behalf of their loved one is bittersweet.
President Biden himself received the Medal of Freedom in 2017 while serving as vice president under former President Barack Obama. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
One notable recipient, actor Denzel Washington, could not attend today's ceremony due to a positive COVID test, according to the White House. The president said Washington will be honored at a later date. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, it's a great way to protect your child's financial future. But would you know where to start? Why you should think about freezing your child's credit.
And you've been hearing the rain throughout the newscast so far. Severe chances diminish somewhat tonight. We're not done with those storm chances yet. The full breakdown's coming up next.
WYMT News app offers alerts on breaking stories as they happen.